Hello everyone, this is Billy Flynn from GeekRadioDaily.com with the GRD Learnstitute, the place where we put a little think into our geek. And something we've been thinking about a lot lately is, well, the doctor situation. In case you don't know, in a previous episode of Doctor Who quite recently, the Doctor met the Doctor in a crossover with a Doctor, the likes of which we've never ever seen before. And we know for a fact it is the Doctor because the Sonic Screwdriver knew, and the Sonic Screwdriver knows everything. And this new Doctor has kind of thrown everybody for a bit of a loop because we've been presented with a new Doctor who apparently has been there the whole time, and quite a few folks have gotten bent out of shape about it because that's modern day fanboyism. There's the, oh, you're retconning, how dare you, which is just nonsense. EP Chris Chibnall stated, it's not a parallel universe. They're not taking that as a cop-out. She is the Doctor. So, take a breath. She's the Doctor. And neither one of them know that, and that's the weirdest thing. How can that be possible? Well, I believe I have an answer, and fanboys, it fits into continuity. Now first, let's Sherlock this up a bit. Let's remove the impossible, starting with who the Doctor is not. This is not a never-before-seen first Doctor. This is not a pre-Hartnell, but I get why some folks can think that. The interior of the TARDIS has a very Hartnell TARDIS look to it, very, very much so. The first Doctor didn't have a Sonic, and was a bit, not so nice to people sometimes, and the Doctor was not nice to Jodie Whittaker and questioned her brain power, but the Sonic Screwdriver especially, it's like, why are you using this thing? What is that, huh? And this could mean this is pre-Sonic Screwdriver-ness with Patrick Troughton, or this could be, I know what that is, but I don't recognize it because it's been through so many facelifts over the years, it's ridiculous. But we can really eliminate the pre-William Hartnell because the TARDIS is a police box, and that did not happen until An Unearthly Child. We know this. We talked about it getting broke then and there. Susan, the Doctor's granddaughter, says she once saw the TARDIS as a sedan chair, which I'd love to see people get in and out of there. The Doctor stopped using the Sonic Screwdriver. It was destroyed with Peter Davison in The Visitation. They'd been relying heavily on it. Tom Baker opened every door in the world with it. John Pertwee thought it was the greatest thing of all time. But Patrick Troughton used a Sonic rather sparingly and sometimes seemed bothered by it. And that's, again, this whole idea of the brain power versus whatever magic toy you have, which is a very early Doctor kind of thing. And I think that's important to think about because, and hear me out, Ruth is Doctor 2.5, and here's why. And you may have heard this conspiracy theory before, but I believe in it. In the Colin Baker, Patrick Troughton crossover, The Two Doctors, Patrick Troughton destroys some continuity when he mentions working for the Celestial Intervention Agency. Basically saying, hey, I'm a special agent for the Time Lords. And we see him with this ring and this bracelet and a watch that can hone in on the TARDIS because, it's known to sort of drift away. Jamie even mentioned some stuff about the Time Lords that he was never would have known about the last time that we saw him. Now, over the years, many fans have speculated that the Time Lords used the Second Doctor as an agent after the events of the War Games, and he did not immediately regenerate and go to exile on Earth. And if he wasn't, and went on some adventures, he could very well, after meeting Colin Baker, have gone on an adventure and regenerated into Ruth. Now, if we accept this possibility, here's how it makes sense. The Time Lords could have taken this knowledge from the Doctor for whatever reason they saw fit and provided a regeneration to the Doctor, so it'd be like, hey, no, later wouldn't be like, what happened? I've still got one. It all makes this out, which means Ruth had all kinds of adventures, and I can't wait for Big Finish to do the exploits with her. Haha! Or I could be off my rocker. She could be a far future Doctor who's lying about not knowing Jodie Whittaker or has a head injury, but that means we would know who the next Doctor or a couple of Doctors away is going to be, and that's not nearly as exciting. I suppose she could be a clone, some kind of genetic creation, but again, Chibnall says she is the Doctor. And I know a clone is technically that person. Well, sure, fine, technicalities, which do keep us out of prison and genies from messing with us. But again, he says she's the Doctor, which of course eliminates the parallel universe, unless he's lying to us. Now, Whittaker's Doctor has been doing some hard diving back into this whole concept of teaching us history and teaching us things, which has reminded me of early Doctor Who, and this could be another way to tie back into those early adventures. The somewhat famous rumored Season 6B would be an amazing thing to finally acknowledge and would absolutely fit into continuity. So how do we get to there? Well, right now, Ruth, as the Doctor, is a fugitive. Gat was hunting her down, and as soon as I saw Gat pop up on screen, I'm like, I have a very Time Lord vibe about you. True fact, ask the Flinstress. Troughton, of course, showed his disdain for the Time Lords, and Ruth, as Ruth, might have found a way, and well, obviously did find a way, to get away from the Time Lords and the whole organization. Because, take the memory away, she's been in exile this whole time, which means before the end of the season, we could see the episode where Ruth gets her mind wiped so future Doctors wouldn't know until Jodie Whittaker learned, but the Time Lords had no idea the Doctor would survive that many regenerations. But the best thing is, we could see Ruth regenerate into Jon Pertwee, which would just be like, wow, fantastic. This entire episode had me geeking myself all over. The tie-ins, it's a beautiful thing. So here's the deal. If this so interests you, I've put this out here on tape that I believe this is what's going to happen from this whole Lost season, that even writers, classic Doctor Who writers, admitted at the time was kind of a real thing. It's never been official, but now's the time to make it happen. But I could be wrong. And if that's the case, here's a video of me being wrong. And you can come up to me anytime and be like, hey, remember when you said that thing, but you were wrong? Fair enough. But if I'm right, and Ruth is Doctor 2.5, that means when I see you, you have to laugh with me when I say I told you that I knew who's who.
Geek Radio Daily. All the geek without the wait. GeekRadioDaily.com.